I am back from the Minneapolis Home and Garden Show, and there is a lot to unpack and go over from the show. Lots of things to discuss, lots of observations that I made, and some questions that I was asked, and one question in particular I want to talk about here in a little bit. But being gone for a few days as a GFY professional hobbyist, there are some things to catch up on. I had 5 orders that I needed to ship out today. I have the roadside stand that was completely empty. I needed to fill that up, and I got to take some wood into the woodshed because when I was gone, Amanda ended up burning through quite a bit of wood. It's kind of crazy. Last week at this time, we were under a winter storm warning, and in Minneapolis, we ended up getting 9 inches of snow. Today, a week later, I'm back here in Wisconsin, and it's 64 degrees, I think, outside right now. So I'm going to get to all those little chores I got to do, and then we will discuss the question that really stood out from the Home and Garden Show. So the Home and Garden Show was a huge success. I was very pleased with how everything went. It was a little long. I don't know if 5 days would be needed, but then again, given the size of this show, I can see why they extended out 5 days. I think maybe a Friday, Saturday, Sunday show would be all right, but it was 5 days, so it was a little long, but I sold out of pretty much everything. I didn't have any tabletop fire pits left. I didn't have any wood left. I had a few racks left. I only sold a few of the mini firewood racks, but people were very intrigued by the whole idea of the tabletop fire pit. And that's one thing that kind of stood out. Again, same thing happened with the show I did last year at the winery, is there are a lot of people who just are not even aware of what a tabletop fire pit is or that it's something available. And once they saw them, and I had my iPad with a video that was looping of the tabletop fire pit burning, and once they saw it and once they, the size of it and the fire and the flame, and I mean, a lot of people were immediately hooked. And so that's the one good thing about, I guess, doing stuff like this is you kind of get the sense of the pulse of just how many people out there know about tabletop fire pits, know about, mini firewood to burn in them. I had a few people that they said that they have a tabletop fire pit, but they had never used it yet. They had won it as a prize on some raffle from work. Somebody had given it to them as a gift, whatever, multiple various reasons. But then, I said to them, well, why haven't you used it? And they were just like, well, we weren't quite sure, what we were going to burn in it and how to really use it. So after showing them that I had mini firewood available, they were like, oh, okay. So they bought a box of wood, and I kind of explained the whole process of how to light it up, how it works, all that stuff. And so hopefully made a few potential repeat customers. That was one of the goals, was to see how many people, had tabletop fire pits, knew of them, and then if I could sell them some wood, hopefully generate repeat customers. So there were also a few people that were mostly interested in the smoking part of it, like the smoker grills. Speaking of smoke, you might be able to see, you may or may not have seen some smoke rolling by here. I've got the micro kiln fired up, so it's giving off. Here comes a little puff of it. There was also one person that bought a box of wood for their pizza oven. So that was good to, make that connection that they had a pizza oven. I think they said before that they had just bought some chunks or something from Menards or something and used that. So they were again, intrigued and interested in the fact that I ship mini firewood, and that mini firewood is something that is available. And then we get to the questions. A lot of questions just around, like the type of wood, and people questioning whether or not this was really something real. I had a lot of questions wondering if the mini firewood rack was like a miniature model of what I, had for sale, as far as being a larger, full-size rack for actual regular 16-inch firewood. So that was kind of funny. Had actually, I think, 2 or 3 people that were, wondering if the rack was a miniature model of like something bigger. And then there was a question, and I brought this up on the live stream. So I was approached by a gentleman, and he was talking to me about whether or not I would be interested in supplying a bulk order of miniature firewood for him, mini firewood. And immediately, I was just like, no, that's not really what I'm looking for at this moment. I'm just building my brand and building my own personal mini firewood, I guess, business. I entertained the idea, and I asked him how much he was looking for. And he said that right now he's producing, he has a guy that works 8 hours a day with a big box store splitter that's turned vertical, splitting the little mini firewood down. And he's claimed that he needed 15 cords for a full semi-load once or twice a month. And that's where I was like, immediately, I was like, oh, well, that is not at all what I would be interested in doing at this moment. There is not even on my radar something like that. And his question back to me was, well, what are you? Are you scared of success? And I was just like, what? I'm like, no, that's not, bulk mini firewood right now. Why would I want to produce way more and make much less? Because obviously, if he wanted me to produce this for him, and then he was going to send it to his distributor, like I was at the bottom of the line. Like I was at the bottom of the chain. So he would be like the middleman, or actually, there'd actually maybe be 2 middlemen between him and, the distributor, and then like the store. So yeah, it was just kind of funny because during the conversation, he repeatedly asked me, like, what are you, scared of success? Why don't you, why isn't this of interest to you? Why won't you want to do that? And I explained to him, I'm like, well, maybe you should just get a machine like the Kinlet that can produce the mini firewood faster and more efficiently than having one guy running a vertical splitter or a big box store splitter vertically. And his reason was that he didn't want to spend the money on a machine to do that, which is like, well, that to me tells me that then you're really not making very much money on these bulk orders of mini firewood. If you're producing 15 cords once or twice a month of mini firewood, and you're not making enough to justify spending the money on a machine, then that's definitely not something I am interested in doing. So we just continued talking, and again he brought up the whole scared of success thing, and then that's when my brother, who was there, like he finally interjected himself into the conversation. He was like, I think that you're the one that's scared of success, because you're here trying to come up with all these excuses as why you don't want to do it and why you want someone else to do it. So who's really scared of success? And it just got me thinking, is it really being scared of success to pace yourself in growing your business to where you know your limits and you know what you want to do, and you don't overstretch yourself? You walk before you run. And I think the number one thing with firewood is that a lot of guys fall into that trap. They fall into the only way to make money in firewood is to produce more. Bulk, more firewood for less money. And for me, that is just not something that I am interested in doing right now. I don't want to produce mini firewood for someone else to then turn around and sell it for more money than what I'm making. So I had to tell the guy no. And again, it was just, this is kind of funny. And it's something that always comes up with firewood. It seems to be like the number one mindset is the only way to make money in firewood is to produce, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of cords. Which, yes, it is, but it also requires, you got to put a lot into that. And I don't know, it may come across as sounding lazy, but at this point in time, I do not want to put in that much work and that much effort into something that right now I'm enjoying it as it is. Success for me is not the dollar sign. It's not, at the end of the day, success is not how much money I made or how much volume bulk firewood I produced. There's way more to it. There's way more for me in being successful than just money and volume. And so that was the one interesting question from the Home and Garden Show that really kind of stood out. I was approached also by a few places interested in or asking me if I provided my mini firewood, for wholesaling. They have a store, they wanted to put it in their store and sell it, and wanted to know if I would be interested in offering it to them wholesale. And again, at this time, I just don't know if that's something, why would I want to sell something I'm selling and continuing to grow, selling more and more of? Why would I want to sell it for less? At this point, no. In the future, maybe. Might be some possibilities there. Who knows? We shall see. But anyway, that is just my little, wrap up from the Home and Garden Show. There was a lot, like I said, just a lot going on, a lot of great contacts made. If everybody that bought a mini fire pit and a box of firewood, if all those people become repeat customers of mine, I will be more than thrilled, because that is exactly what my objective was going there, getting more awareness out, getting to meet people, getting to kind of understand more of are there people out there that don't know about these? Do they know about them? They're just not interested. Just get that sense of what is the real potential here in the mini or the smokeless tabletop fire pit market. And I think it's huge. I think it's still trending way up.